Imagine, for a moment, that you're looking out a window at a winter night. The sky is that particular shade of deep blue-black that only happens in winter, when the air is cold and clear. Stars are visible, sharp and bright, more stars than you can count, scattered across the vastness like ice crystals on velvet. The moon, perhaps, hangs low and full, casting its silver light across a landscape transformed. If there's snow in your imagined scene, it covers everything: rooftops, tree branches, the ground itself, in a blanket of white that seems to glow faintly in the moonlight. The snow has erased all the sharp edges, all the harsh lines, softening everything into gentle curves and quiet mounds. The world looks clean, new, peaceful, as if nature itself has decided to begin again with a blank page. And it's quiet. So quiet. The kind of quiet that you only find in winter, when snow muffles sound, when fewer creatures stir, when even the air itself seems to hold its breath. In this quiet, you can hear your own heartbeat, your own breathing, the gentle sounds of your own aliveness, usually drowned out by the noise of the world. Or perhaps your imagined winter scene has no snow. Perhaps you see bare trees, their branches creating intricate patterns against that deep winter sky, each twig and branch visible in a way they never are when covered with leaves. Perhaps you see frost coating everything in delicate crystals that catch the moonlight. Perhaps you see your own breath rising in visible clouds, proof of the warmth inside you meeting the cold of the world outside. Whatever your winter looks like, it's yours. And it's beautiful. And it's calling you to rest. Now bring your awareness back to where you are right now. Your body, lying down or sitting, supported and safe. Feel the surface beneath you, your bed, your chair, whatever holds you. Feel how it supports your weight completely. You don't have to hold yourself up. You can let go. You can be held. Feel the covering over you, blankets, perhaps, or a soft comforter. Feel their weight pressing gently against your body. This gentle pressure is like winter snow covering the earth, protecting what lies beneath, creating a boundary between you and the world. Under these covers, you are safe. You are warm. You are protected from the cold night, just as roots are protected beneath frozen ground, just as animals are protected in their dens and burrows. Notice the temperature of the air on your face. Perhaps it's slightly cool, the way winter air is cool. This coolness on your skin while warmth surrounds your body creates the perfect condition for sleep. Your body knows this. Your ancient mammalian brain recognizes this temperature pattern as the signal that it's time to rest, time to let consciousness fade, time to drift into the healing darkness of sleep. The room around you is dim, or perhaps completely dark. This darkness is winter's gift. In summer, light intrudes, through windows, from street lamps, from the early rising sun. But winter offers darkness freely, generously. Long winter nights wrap around you like a protective cloak, giving you hours and hours to sleep, to dream, to restore yourself at the deepest levels. And you're going to use this time well. Not by trying, not by effort, but by surrendering. By letting winter do what winter does best, slow you down, quiet your mind, ease you into the kind of rest that goes beyond mere sleep into true restoration. Tonight's journey will take you deep into winter's wisdom. You'll learn why the cold air soothes your nervous system, why darkness heals your tired eyes and overstimulated brain, why the quiet of winter nights allows your mind to finally, truly rest, why snow and frost and ice aren't just beautiful, they're medicine for your weary soul. But you don't need to try to learn these things. You don't need to concentrate or remember or take notes in your mind. These truths will seep into you the way snowmelt seeps into spring soil, slowly, gently, without force. Your job isn't to grasp or retain. Your job is simply to listen, to rest, and to allow. Think of yourself as a winter tree. All summer and fall, that tree was busy, growing leaves, making food through photosynthesis, producing seeds or fruits, housing birds and insects, reaching toward the sun. It worked so hard. It gave so much. And now, in winter, it stands bare and still. Its leaves have fallen. Its sap has retreated deep into its trunk and roots. It looks, to the casual observer, like it's doing nothing. But that tree isn't doing nothing. It's engaged in the most important work of all, it's resting. It's conserving energy. It's allowing its cells to repair, its systems to reset. Deep within its wood, in ways invisible to the eye, it's preparing for spring's growth. But that preparation doesn't look like action. It looks like stillness. It looks like patience. It looks like rest. You are that winter tree. You've worked so hard, given so much, reached and strived and produced. And now it's time to stand still. To let your leaves fall, all those thoughts and worries and plans and concerns. To let your energy retreat inward, deep into your core, where the real work of restoration happens. To look, from the outside, like you're doing nothing, while actually doing the most important thing of all. You're resting. The winter world outside, or the winter in your imagination, is resting too. Under the frozen ground, seeds are sleeping, waiting. In hollow trees and underground burrows, animals are curled tight, their heartbeats slowed, their breath shallow and slow. Ponds and lakes are still beneath ice, their movement suspended. Even the sun seems to rest, rising late and setting early, as if it too needs extra hours of darkness to restore itself. All of nature understands that winter is the season of rest. Only humans, in our modern world, try to resist this truth. We light up the darkness with electric lights. We heat our spaces to summer temperatures. We maintain summer schedules and summer expectations. And our brains, oh, our poor brains, are so confused, so exhausted, trying to maintain summer alertness through winter months that were meant for slowing down. But not tonight. Tonight, you're aligning yourself with winter's truth. Tonight, you're giving your brain permission to do what it's been desperately trying to do, rest in the way winter intended. As we move through the hours ahead, you'll hear about melatonin and neurotransmitters, about light and darkness, about temperature and sound and all the fascinating ways that winter creates the perfect conditions for your brain to calm itself. But underneath all of those facts, all of that science, is one simple truth: winter is here to help you rest. So let yourself be helped. Let winter, in all its cold beauty, in all its dark quiet, in all its still patience, teach your brain how to be calm. Let the season that has guided mammals through rest for millions of years guide you now. Your breathing is slowing already, isn't it? Becoming deeper, more rhythmic, like the slow breathing of hibernating animals, like the slow breath of winter wind. This is your body remembering how to winter, remembering how to rest, remembering that you are part of nature's cycles, not separate from them. Your eyelids are heavy, so heavy, like snow-laden branches. They want to close. It's okay to let them. In fact, it's more than okay, it's what should happen. In winter, we close our eyes earlier, sleep longer, dream deeper. This is natural. This is right. This is your birthright as a creature of earth and season. The story that follows will wrap around you like falling snow, each word a soft flake landing gently, covering your thoughts in quiet, your worries in stillness, your restless mind in peace. You don't have to catch every word. You don't have to follow every sentence. Let them fall around you. Let them accumulate. Let them cover you in understanding without effort. And if you drift away, if consciousness fades and sleep takes you, that's perfect. That's victory, not failure. Every moment you spend sleeping tonight is a moment your brain is doing exactly what it needs to do. Sleep is the goal. Sleep is the gift. Sleep is winter's greatest offering to your weary mind. But even if sleep doesn't come immediately, even if you find yourself awake and listening for a while, that's perfect too. Because lying quietly in the dark, breathing slowly, listening to gentle truths about winter's calm, this is rest too. This is your nervous system shifting gears, your stress hormones lowering, your brain waves slowing from beta to alpha to theta. This is healing, whether sleep comes in 5 minutes or 50. Outside your window, real or imagined, winter continues its slow work. Ice is forming in intricate patterns on cold glass. Snow is falling, or has fallen, or will fall. The stars are wheeling slowly across the sky in their ancient paths. The moon is pulling tides, marking time, doing what it has done for billions of years. And you are here, part of all of it, held by the same forces, following the same rhythms, resting in the same darkness. You are exactly where you need to be. You are exactly who you need to be. You are doing exactly what you need to do, which is nothing at all except rest. So settle deeper now. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw relax. Let your forehead smooth. Feel winter's peace seeping into you like cold seeping into stone, slowly, thoroughly, transforming you from the inside out. The story of winter's calm is beginning. Or perhaps it's been happening all along, from the first moment you lay down, from the first word you heard, from the first breath you took in this quiet darkness. Winter is here. And winter is peace. As darkness falls earlier each evening during winter months, something remarkable begins to happen inside your mind. The shortened daylight triggers an ancient response in your brain, one that has guided human beings through countless winters across millennia. Your pineal gland, that tiny pine cone-shaped structure deep within your brain, begins producing melatonin earlier than it would during summer months. This isn't a flaw in your system, it's a beautiful adaptation, a gentle whisper from nature telling you that now is the time for deeper rest, for turning inward, for allowing yourself to slow down. The cold air itself becomes a messenger of calm. When you breathe in winter air, cooled to crisp perfection, something extraordinary occurs in your respiratory system and brain. The cold stimulates your vagus nerve, that wandering nerve that connects your brain to your heart, lungs, and digestive system. As the vagus nerve activates, it sends signals throughout your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of you designed for rest and restoration. Your heart rate naturally begins to slow, your breathing deepens and becomes more rhythmic, and a wave of tranquility washes through your entire being. This is why a winter walk feels so different from a summer stroll. Your body is responding to temperatures that existed long before modern heating, before insulated homes, before humanity learned to push back against the season's natural invitation to rest. And in that cold air, your brain is receiving exactly what it needs to find a state of calm. Winter light, too, tells its own soothing story. The sun hangs lower in the sky, casting longer shadows and creating what photographers call the golden hour that lasts much longer than in summer. This softer, more diffused light enters your eyes and reduces the strain on your visual cortex, the part of your brain that processes everything you see. Without the intense brightness of summer sun, your brain doesn't need to work as hard to filter and interpret the world around you. There's less visual noise, less stimulation, and in that gentleness, your mind finds space to settle. The absence of harsh light also means your eyes produce less of the stress hormone cortisol. In summer, intense sunlight can trigger cortisol production as your body works to protect itself from UV exposure and heat. But in winter, as the sun's intensity diminishes, cortisol levels naturally drop, especially during those long, peaceful evenings. Lower cortisol means lower anxiety, reduced tension in your muscles, and a mind that's more willing to drift into restful states. As winter settles in around you, the very soundscape of the world transforms into something that soothes your auditory cortex. Snow, when it falls, acts as nature's sound barrier. Each snowflake, with its unique crystalline structure, traps air pockets that absorb sound waves. When snow accumulates on the ground, on trees, on rooftops, it creates what acousticians call a reverberant absorber. The world becomes quieter, hushed, as if nature itself has placed a gentle finger to its lips and whispered, "SHHHH." This reduction in ambient noise has a profound effect on your brain's default mode network, the neural pathways that activate when you're at rest, when you're daydreaming, when your mind is allowed to wander without external demands. In the quieter winter world, this network can function more smoothly, without constantly being interrupted by sudden sounds. Your thoughts can flow like a slow-moving stream rather than rushing rapids, and in that gentle flow, you find a deeper sense of peace. The temperature drop that defines winter also influences your brain's production of neurotransmitters. Cold temperatures encourage your brain to produce more norepinephrine, but in a very different way than the stress-induced norepinephrine of a fight or flight response. Cold-induced norepinephrine sharpens your focus while simultaneously activating your body's brown fat tissue, which generates heat and produces a feeling of cozy warmth from within. This creates a beautiful paradox. You're alert enough to appreciate the beauty of winter, yet calm enough to feel deeply relaxed. Your brain also responds to winter by shifting its energy allocation. During summer, your brain uses significant resources to help regulate your body temperature, constantly working to cool you down through sweating and increased blood flow to your skin. But in winter, these demands decrease dramatically. The cooler air does much of the temperature regulation for you, freeing up neural resources that can be redirected toward rest, reflection, and the kind of deep thinking that leads to creative insights and emotional processing. This is perhaps why so many people report having more vivid dreams during winter months. With more hours of darkness and longer sleep duration, your brain cycles through more REM sleep phases, those periods when your most emotionally important and memorable dreams occur. Your hippocampus, the brain region responsible for memory consolidation, has more time to process the experiences of your waking life, weaving them into the rich tapestry of dreams that help you make sense of your world. The winter landscape itself, often stripped down to bare essentials, creates a visual simplicity that your brain finds deeply restful. Trees without leaves become elegant line drawings against the sky. Fields covered in snow transform into blank canvases. This reduction in visual complexity means your brain's pattern recognition systems can rest. In spring and summer, your visual cortex constantly processes the intricate details of every leaf, every flower, every blade of grass swaying in warm breezes. But winter offers minimalism, and in that minimalism, your mind discovers a gallery of calm. Inside your home, as you retreat from the cold, the contrast between cool outdoor air and warm indoor spaces triggers another cascade of calming responses. Your brain releases endorphins in response to the pleasant sensation of warmth after cold, the same endorphins that create a sense of well-being and contentment. This is why coming inside on a winter day feels so satisfying, why wrapping yourself in a blanket feels like an embrace from the universe itself. The winter sun, when it does shine, provides a different quality of light that affects your circadian rhythms in unique ways. The lower angle of sunlight means it contains a higher proportion of red and orange wavelengths and fewer of the blue wavelengths that suppress melatonin production. Your brain receives this warmer light and interprets it as a gentle signal rather than the bright, alerting signal of summer sun. It's light that says, you can be awake, but you don't need to be energized, allowing for a state of relaxed wakefulness that's harder to achieve during other seasons. As winter progresses, your brain also adapts to spending more time indoors, often in smaller, more enclosed spaces. This might seem limiting, but for your brain, it can actually be incredibly soothing. Enclosed spaces activate what psychologists call prospect refuge theory, the idea that humans feel most secure when they have a good view of their surroundings while also feeling protected. A cozy room in winter, with windows looking out onto a cold world while you remain warm and safe inside, perfectly fulfills this ancient need for security. Your amygdala, the brain's fear center, receives constant reassurance that you are safe, sheltered, protected. The foods we naturally crave in winter also contribute to the season's calming effects on the brain. Warm soups, stews, and comfort foods aren't just psychologically satisfying, they trigger specific neural responses. Warm food activates thermoreceptors in your mouth and throat, sending signals to your hypothalamus that you are nourished, warm, and safe. Complex carbohydrates in winter comfort foods increase the production of serotonin, that crucial neurotransmitter that regulates mood and promotes feelings of contentment and calm. Winter also encourages activities that are inherently meditative and brain-calming. The slower pace of the season naturally leads to more time spent reading, reflecting, or simply sitting quietly. When you engage in these low-stimulation activities, your brain's alpha waves increase. These are the brain waves associated with relaxed wakefulness, with the state just before sleep, with meditation and peaceful contemplation. It's as if winter gives your brain permission to produce more of these calming electrical patterns. The hibernation response, subtle in humans but still present, affects our brains in profound ways. Your brain stem, the most ancient part of your brain, still carries evolutionary programming that responds to winter by encouraging conservation of energy. This manifests as a desire to stay still, to rest, to avoid unnecessary exertion. While our modern lives may push against this tendency, when you allow yourself to honor it, your entire nervous system relaxes into alignment with millions of years of evolutionary wisdom. Even the way time seems to move differently in winter affects your brain's perception and stress levels. With fewer outdoor activities and social obligations, many people experience what researchers call temporal spaciousness, the feeling that time is moving more slowly, that there's more space in each day. This perception alone reduces activity in your brain's anterior cingulate cortex, a region associated with time pressure and urgency. When time feels abundant rather than scarce, your mind naturally settles into a calmer state. The winter night sky, visible earlier and for longer periods, offers its own form of neural calm. When you look up at stars on a clear winter night, your brain processes the vast scale of the universe in a way that psychologists call awe. This emotion of awe has been shown to reduce activity in your default mode network, the neural pathways associated with self-focused thinking and worry. Under winter stars, your problems seem smaller, your mind quieter, your place in the universe more clear and strangely comforting. The ritual aspects of winter also create neural pathways of calm. Whether it's lighting candles as darkness falls earlier, preparing hot drinks, or following evening routines, these repeated actions create predictable patterns that your brain finds soothing. Your basal ganglia, which process habitual behaviors, release small amounts of dopamine when you follow these comforting rituals, creating a gentle reward system that encourages continued calm behaviors. Winter weather patterns, the gentle falling of snow, the patter of sleet, the howl of wind outside while you're safe inside, create what's known as pink noise. This is a specific frequency pattern of sound that's more balanced than white noise, containing equal energy in each octave. Pink noise has been shown to improve sleep quality and deepen the slow-wave sleep that's crucial for physical and mental restoration. Your brain, hearing these natural winter sounds, synchronizes its own electrical activity to match these soothing frequencies. The reduction in outdoor allergens during winter also contributes to a calmer brain. In spring and summer, many people's immune systems are constantly activated by pollen, causing subtle inflammation throughout the body, including in the brain. This neuroinflammation can contribute to feelings of fatigue, difficulty concentrating, and increased anxiety. But winter's cold kills most allergens, allowing your immune system to rest and your brain to function without this subtle inflammatory burden. As winter deepens, your brain's production of GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid, the neurotransmitter that reduces neural activity, increases in response to the season's demands for conservation and rest. GABA is your brain's natural anxiety reducer, its built-in calming system. Higher GABA levels mean that the excitatory signals in your brain are more effectively balanced by inhibitory signals, creating a neural environment that's less prone to racing thoughts, worry, and overstimulation. The practice of wintering, consciously slowing down and honoring the season's invitation to rest, creates lasting changes in your brain's neural pathways. When you repeatedly choose rest over stimulation, quiet over noise, stillness over constant movement, you strengthen the neural connections associated with these calmer states. Over time, your brain becomes more efficient at accessing calm, building what neuroscientists call trait effects rather than just state effects. You're not just calm in the moment, you're becoming a calmer person. Winter's influence on your social interactions also affects your brain in calming ways. Smaller, more intimate gatherings replace large summer parties. These deeper, more meaningful social connections activate your brain's oxytocin system more effectively than superficial social interactions do. Oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone, has powerful anxiety-reducing effects and creates feelings of trust, safety, and connection. A quiet evening with close friends or family in winter can flood your brain with this soothing neurochemical. The absence of certain summer stressors in winter also gives your brain a much-needed break. No sunburn to worry about, no insects buzzing around triggering your threat detection systems, no pressure to maintain a summer body or fill every weekend with activities. These missing stressors mean that your amygdala, your brain's alarm system, has fewer triggers to respond to. With fewer alarms going off, your overall baseline of calm increases. Winter exercise, when it occurs, has unique effects on your brain chemistry. The combination of cold air and physical movement triggers a stronger endorphin response than the same exercise in warm weather. Cold weather runners often report feelings of euphoria and mental clarity that seem more intense than their summer runs. This is your brain responding to the challenge of cold with a generous release of feel-good chemicals, creating a natural high that's followed by deep, satisfying calm. The moisture level in winter air, while often lower, creates conditions that affect your brain's hydration signaling. Cold air doesn't trigger the same thirst response as hot air, but your brain actually adapts to this by becoming more efficient at using the fluids in your system. This metabolic efficiency extends to other brain functions, creating a season-long pattern of your brain doing more with less, conserving resources, operating in a mode that's sustainable rather than depleting. Winter's darkness also encourages the production of melatonin at levels that might not be possible during summer months. Melatonin isn't just a sleep aid, it's also a powerful antioxidant that protects your brain cells from damage. During winter's long nights, your brain bathes itself in this protective compound for extended periods, conducting deeper repair work and clearing out cellular debris that accumulates during waking hours. This enhanced cleaning process leaves your brain functioning more efficiently, more calmly, more clearly. The cultural traditions associated with winter, storytelling, gathering around fires, sharing meals, tap into ancient neural pathways that our brains developed over thousands of generations. When you engage in these timeless activities, your brain recognizes them at a deep level, activating regions associated with safety, belonging, and tribal connection. These are some of the oldest and most fundamental sources of calm in the human brain, predating language, predating civilization, reaching back to when humans first gathered together against winter's cold. Winter's effect on your sleep architecture also contributes to daytime calm. With longer nights and earlier darkness, many people naturally sleep longer in winter, but more importantly, they achieve more complete sleep cycles. A full sleep cycle takes about 90 minutes, and getting multiple complete cycles means your brain has more opportunity to process emotions, consolidate memories, and clear out the adenosine that builds up during waking hours. Better sleep architecture means a calmer, more resilient brain during the day. The simplification of life that winter often brings, fewer social obligations, less yard work, fewer outdoor projects, reduces what psychologists call decision fatigue. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making, has limited resources each day. Every choice you make depletes these resources slightly. In winter, with its naturally reduced scope of activities, your prefrontal cortex faces fewer demands, conserving energy that can instead be used for creative thinking, problem-solving, or simply experiencing the present moment with greater awareness and calm. As snow accumulates on the ground, creating that distinctive winter landscape, it increases the amount of light reflected back into the sky. This creates a unique lighting environment where even cloudy days have a gentle, diffused brightness. This type of light reduces the harsh shadows and glare that can cause eye strain and headaches, allowing your visual system to relax. When your eyes are relaxed, the muscles around them release tension, which in turn signals to your brain that there's no threat requiring vigilant watching. This cascade of relaxation spreads from your eyes throughout your entire nervous system. The slower growth cycles of plants in winter, the dormancy of trees, the stillness of gardens, all of these create an environment where natural change occurs more slowly. Your brain, which is constantly monitoring your environment for change that might signal danger, can rest more easily when the world around you is stable and changing slowly. This reduced environmental volatility translates directly into reduced neural activity in your threat detection systems, allowing the parts of your brain responsible for rest and restoration to take the foreground. Winter air pressure systems, particularly the stable high-pressure systems that bring cold, clear weather, affect your brain chemistry in subtle but real ways. Changes in barometric pressure influence the fluid pressure in your inner ear and sinuses, which your brain monitors constantly. Stable winter high-pressure systems mean fewer dramatic pressure changes, less stimulation of your vestibular system, and fewer headaches and balance disturbances. This stability at the level of your basic sensory systems creates a foundation for neural calm. The practice of layering clothing in winter, of adjusting your external warmth to match your comfort level, gives you a sense of control over your environment that's harder to achieve in summer heat. This perception of control, even over something as simple as adding or removing a sweater, activates your brain's reward centers and reduces activity in regions associated with helplessness and stress. Small moments of control throughout the day accumulate into an overall sense of agency that supports mental calm. Winter's invitation to stay indoors also means more exposure to stable indoor lighting, particularly in the evening. While it's important to get natural light during the day, the consistent, controllable lighting of your home in the evening helps regulate your circadian rhythm more reliably than summer evenings when daylight lingers unpredictably. Your suprachiasmatic nucleus, your brain's master clock, can establish clearer, more consistent rhythms in winter, and these regular rhythms are fundamental to good sleep and daytime calm. The reduced evaporation of water from your skin and cold, dry winter air means your body uses slightly less energy on temperature regulation through evaporative cooling. This saved energy can be redirected to other functions, including enhanced cognitive function and emotional regulation. Your brain, no longer working overtime to coordinate cooling responses, can dedicate more resources to the higher-order thinking and feeling that characterize calm, centered states of mind. As winter teaches you to find beauty in bareness, in bare branches, in blank skies, in snow-covered fields, your brain learns to appreciate simplicity in other areas of life as well. This cognitive shift, where you begin to see minimalism as beautiful rather than lacking, reduces the constant craving for more that characterizes modern life. When your brain isn't always seeking the next source of stimulation, it can settle into appreciation of what is, and in that appreciation, find profound peace. The winter moon, rising earlier and visible longer through bare tree branches, provides another source of calm light. Moonlight has long been associated with restful states, and scientific research confirms that the silver light of the moon activates your brain differently than sunlight. Moonlight viewing has been shown to increase alpha wave activity in the brain, those waves associated with relaxed alertness and meditative states. Looking at the winter moon, you're not just seeing a celestial body, you're bathing your brain in light that evolved to signal rest. Winter constellations, more visible in the longer nights and clearer air, create patterns that your brain finds soothing to process. The human brain is a pattern recognition machine, and the predictable, eternal patterns of stars provide a kind of visual meditation. Unlike the random, chaotic patterns of modern life, the flashing of screens, the disorder of busy streets, star patterns are ancient, reliable, and mathematically precise. Processing these orderly patterns gives your brain's pattern recognition systems a satisfying workout that ends in a sense of completion and calm. The scent of winter, crisp, clean, often carrying the mineral smell of snow or the smoke of distant fireplaces, affects your limbic system, the emotional center of your brain, in specific ways. These scents are associated with safety, warmth, and shelter, triggering memories and emotions that promote calm. Your olfactory bulb, directly connected to your amygdala and hippocampus, processes these scents and can almost instantaneously shift your emotional state toward contentment and peace. As winter encourages you to drink more warm beverages, tea, hot chocolate, warm milk, you're not just warming your body, you're giving your brain repeated doses of comfort through both temperature and routine. The act of holding something warm activates thermoreceptors in your hands that send signals to your insula, a brain region involved in emotional awareness and empathy. These warm signals literally translate into warm feelings, demonstrating the beautiful connection between your physical sensations and your emotional state. Winter's natural limitation of daylight creates a built-in reason to rest that our modern, electric-lit world often lacks. This external limitation removes the burden of choice. You're not being lazy by resting when it's dark, you're responding appropriately to your environment. This removal of guilt allows your brain to rest more fully, without the internal conflict that disrupts true relaxation. When rest is not a choice you're making but a natural response to darkness, your brain can embrace it completely. The crystalline structure of ice and snow, visible in frost patterns on windows or individual snowflakes, provides your brain with fractals, those infinitely complex patterns that repeat at different scales. Research has shown that viewing fractals reduces stress by up to 60%. Your brain evolved in natural environments full of fractals, tree branches, coastlines, clouds, and when you look at frost patterns or snow crystals, you're giving your visual cortex the kind of input it was designed to process, triggering deep relaxation responses. Winter's slower pace extends even to your brain's processing speed. Studies show that cognitive processing speeds can vary slightly with season, with winter generally showing more thorough, contemplative processing rather than the rapid, surface-level processing more common in stimulating summer months. This slower processing isn't a deficit, it's a feature. It allows for deeper understanding, better retention, and more meaningful connection with ideas and experiences. The protective instinct that winter awakens, to shelter others, to share warmth, to ensure everyone has what they need, activates your brain's caregiving systems. These neural networks, centered in your anterior cingulate cortex and prefrontal regions, produce feelings of purpose and connection when activated. The act of caring for others during winter's challenges creates a neurochemical cascade that includes oxytocin, endorphins, and dopamine, all contributing to a profound sense of calm and well-being. As you settle deeper into winter, your brain begins to anticipate the eventual return of spring, creating a subtle sense of expectancy and hope. This anticipation activates your brain's reward prediction systems in a gentle way, providing just enough positive expectation to brighten your mood without creating anxious anticipation. It's a balanced state where you appreciate the present moment of winter calm while looking forward to future renewal, a neurological sweet spot that supports sustained peace of mind. The silence of a winter night, deeper and more complete than any other season offers, allows your auditory cortex to finally, fully rest. In that silence, the constant processing of sound that your brain does during waking hours can pause. This is the neural equivalent of finally closing dozens of browser tabs that have been running in the background, freeing up mental resources and allowing your brain to redirect energy toward restoration and repair. And in this quiet, in this cold, in this darkness, your brain finds something it desperately needs: permission to rest. Not just sleep, but true rest, the kind that happens when all systems are aligned, when your environment supports your biology, when ancient rhythms in modern life finally, briefly, synchronize. This is winter's greatest gift to your brain, the space to simply be, without pressure, without demand, wrapped in the season's gentle invitation to slow down, to settle in, to embrace the calm. And as you rest in winter's embrace, there are still more layers to this season's gift of calm, more ways that winter whispers peace to your weary mind. The very act of breathing winter air creates a unique relationship between your lungs and your brain. Cold air is denser than warm air, containing more oxygen molecules per breath. When you inhale this oxygen-rich air, your blood carries more oxygen to your brain with each circulation. This increased oxygenation enhances the function of your prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for executive function and emotional regulation. Paradoxically, while winter makes you want to slow down, it's also quietly optimizing your brain's ability to think clearly and maintain emotional balance when you do engage with the world. The crystallization of water in winter, from liquid to solid, from flowing to still, mirrors a process that happens in your own neural networks during rest. Your brain's synapses, the connections between neurons, undergo a process called synaptic homeostasis during sleep. Just as water finds its most stable form in ice crystals, your brain stabilizes and strengthens the most important neural connections while pruning away the unnecessary ones. Winter's extended periods of darkness give your brain more time for this essential maintenance, allowing for deeper synaptic homeostasis than other seasons permit. Winter wind, particularly when you're safely sheltered from it, creates a specific type of ambient sound that your brain finds deeply comforting. The low-frequency rumble of wind against walls and windows activates your brain's sense of being protected, triggering what researchers call cocooning behavior. Your brain releases small amounts of oxytocin in response to feeling sheltered from the elements, the same bonding hormone released during hugs and moments of connection. The sound of wind outside while you're warm inside creates an ongoing reassurance. You are safe, you are protected, you are exactly where you need to be. The reduction in vitamin D production during winter months, while often discussed as a negative, actually serves an important purpose in your brain's seasonal adaptation. Lower vitamin D levels signal your brain to shift into conservation mode, reducing the production of certain activating neurotransmitters and increasing receptors for calming ones. This isn't a deficiency to fight against entirely. It's part of a natural seasonal rhythm that has existed for hundreds of thousands of years. Your brain evolved to cycle through seasons, not to maintain summer alertness year-round. Winter constellations tell time in a way that summer constellations cannot. Orion, rising in the winter sky, has marked the passage of cold months for countless human generations. When you see these winter stars, your brain's temporal processing centers engage with deep time, not the rushed minutes and hours of daily life, but the slow turning of months and millennia. This engagement with deep time has been shown to reduce anxiety and provide perspective, shrinking your immediate worries in the face of cosmic timescales. The frost that forms on windows creates patterns through a process called dendritic growth, the same word used for the branching extensions of neurons in your brain. These frost dendrites form following the same mathematical principles as neural dendrites, creating fractals that your brain recognizes at a deep, almost cellular level. When you look at frost patterns, you're seeing the visual equivalent of your own neural architecture, and this recognition creates a subtle sense of familiarity and comfort in your visual cortex. Winter's cold temperatures affect your brown adipose tissue, brown fat, in ways that influence your mood and mental clarity. When activated by cold, brown fat produces a protein called UCP1 that generates heat, but it also releases hormones that improve insulin sensitivity and reduce inflammation throughout your body, including in your brain. This reduction in neuroinflammation allows your neurons to communicate more efficiently, creating clearer thinking and more stable moods. The slight chill of winter is actually tuning your metabolism in ways that support cognitive calm. The migration of birds in winter, or their absence in places they've flown from, creates a quieter sky that your brain processes differently than the active, bird-filled skies of spring and summer. The stillness of winter skies reduces the amount of movement in your peripheral vision, allowing your visual system to relax. Your brain's motion detection systems, always scanning for potential threats, can rest when there's less movement to track. This contributes to the overall sense of stillness that makes winter feel so peaceful. Winter precipitation, whether snow, sleet, or freezing rain, follows predictable patterns that your brain finds soothing to witness. Unlike the chaotic thunderstorms of summer, winter precipitation tends to be gentler, more consistent, more rhythmic. This predictability activates your brain's pattern completion circuits, providing the satisfaction of expectation met. When you watch snow fall steadily, your brain experiences something similar to watching waves on a beach, a repetitive, predictable pattern that induces a light meditative state. The angle of winter sunlight creates longer shadows, and these shadows move more slowly across the ground than the shorter, faster-moving shadows of summer. Your brain's peripheral vision tracks shadow movement constantly, even when you're not consciously aware of it, using these movements to gauge the passage of time and potential threats. Slower-moving shadows mean your threat detection systems can relax, processing less rapid change and allowing more of your neural resources to be directed toward rest and restoration. Indoor heating in winter creates subtle temperature gradients within rooms, warmer near the ceiling, cooler near the floor, warm near radiators, cooler by windows. Your skin contains millions of thermoreceptors that constantly map these temperature variations, sending detailed thermal information to your somatosensory cortex. This complex thermal landscape gives your brain interesting sensory input to process, but unlike the sensory assault of a hot summer day, winter's thermal variations are gentle and non-threatening. Your brain can engage with this sensory richness without triggering stress responses. The practice of keeping winter gardens dormant, of not expecting growth during these months, teaches your brain an important lesson about cycles and rest. When you look at a winter garden, brown, still, apparently lifeless, and understand that this dormancy is necessary for spring's growth, your brain applies this wisdom to your own cycles. Just as gardens need winter rest to produce summer abundance, your brain needs periods of low stimulation to restore its capacity for high engagement. Winter gardens are visual reminders that rest is productive, that apparent inactivity is actually deep preparation. The moisture in your breath becomes visible in cold air, creating small clouds that dissipate into the atmosphere. This visible breathing serves as a natural breathing meditation, drawing your attention to each breath in a way that warm weather breathing cannot. When you can see your breath, you naturally become more aware of your breathing rhythm, and this awareness automatically slows and deepens your breathing. Slower, deeper breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system more effectively than quick, shallow breathing, inducing states of calm with each visible exhale. Winter clothing, layers of fabric creating insulation, mimics the protective myelin sheaths that insulate your neurons. Just as myelin allows electrical signals to travel efficiently along neural pathways, your winter layers allow you to maintain efficient body temperature with minimal energy expenditure. This parallel isn't just poetic. The sense of being well insulated actually signals to your brain that you're protected and efficient, reducing activation in regions associated with vulnerability and threat. The darkness of winter mornings, when you might wake before the sun, provides a unique opportunity for your brain to ease into wakefulness rather than being jolted into alertness by bright morning light. This gentler waking process allows your cortisol awakening response, the natural spike in cortisol that helps you wake up, to rise more gradually. A gradual cortisol awakening response is associated with better stress resilience throughout the day, compared to the sharp spike that occurs when you're awakened by bright light or a jarring alarm. Ice formations, icicles hanging from eaves, ice sheets on ponds, frost flowers on windows, create perfect geometric forms that your brain's geometric processing centers find deeply satisfying. Your fusiform gyrus, involved in processing geometric patterns, shows increased activity and subsequent relaxation when viewing natural geometric perfection. Ice, formed by physics and chemistry alone, creates geometries that please your brain without any conscious effort on your part, offering beauty that requires nothing from you but observation. The scarcity of insects in winter removes a constant low-level stressor from your environment. During warm months, your brain must constantly process the buzzing, movement, and potential threat of insects, keeping your threat detection systems partially activated even during rest. Winter's cold eliminates this constant vigilance requirement, allowing your amygdala to rest more completely. The absence of that high-pitched insect buzz means your auditory cortex doesn't need to maintain the same level of threat scanning it does in summer. Winter's influence on atmospheric pressure tends toward stability, with high-pressure systems often settling over regions for extended periods. Your inner ear, containing fluid-filled chambers that detect pressure changes, responds to this stability with reduced stimulation. For many people, the stable pressure of winter means fewer headaches, less dizziness, and better balance. When your vestibular system is calm, it signals safety to your brain, contributing to an overall sense of equilibrium that supports mental calm. The tradition of winter storytelling, tales told around fires, books read on long evenings, engages your brain's narrative processing networks in specific ways. When you listen to or read stories, your brain's default mode network activates, but in a structured way, following the story's arc. This is different from the wandering, often anxious activation that occurs when the default mode network has nothing to focus on. Stories give your brain's natural tendency to create narratives a productive channel, reducing rumination and worry while still allowing for the reflective state that the default mode network creates. Winter light's lower intensity means your pupils remain slightly more dilated than they would in summer brightness. This pupil dilation is controlled by your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system, rather than your sympathetic fight or flight system. The act of maintaining dilated pupils in gentle light keeps your parasympathetic system more active throughout winter days, creating a baseline state that's more conducive to calm and relaxation than the pupil-constricting brightness of summer. The mineral content of snow, particularly in areas where snow falls through industrial or urban air, creates a unique sensory experience when snow is brought inside and melts. The slight metallic or mineral scent activates your olfactory system in ways that are associated with earth and nature, grounding scents that connect you to the physical world. These grounding scents help anchor your awareness in the present moment, reducing the tendency toward future-focused anxiety or past-focused rumination. Winter's shorter days mean fewer hours of decision-making, fewer hours when you're expected to be productive and engaged. This natural limitation on productive hours reduces what researchers call ego depletion, the exhaustion of your self-control and decision-making resources. Your prefrontal cortex, which handles these executive functions, gets more recovery time each day in winter simply because darkness enforces rest. This additional recovery time means you start each day with fuller reserves of mental energy, even if you're awake for fewer hours. The way sound travels differently in cold air, faster and more clearly over distance, creates acoustic environments in winter that are unique to the season. When you hear distant sounds on a cold night, a train whistle, a dog barking, church bells, they arrive at your ear with greater clarity than they would in summer. This acoustic clarity, while sometimes allowing sounds to carry further, also means your brain can more easily identify and categorize sounds, reducing the amygdala's uncertainty that ambiguous sounds create. Clear, identifiable sounds are less threatening than mysterious ones, allowing your threat detection systems to remain calm. Winter's tendency to keep people indoors more often creates conditions where you're more likely to engage in activities that require sustained attention, puzzles, crafts, long conversations, detailed cooking. These activities activate your brain's task-positive network, the neural system engaged when you're focused on external tasks. Regular activation of this network, balanced with activation of the default mode network during rest, creates what neuroscientists call healthy neural balance. This balance between focused attention and restful reflection is easier to achieve in winter's natural rhythm of dark rest and light activity. The phenomenon of thunder during snowfall, is rare and creates a unique sensory experience that combines the visual calm of falling snow with the dramatic sound of thunder. This combination triggers both activation and calm in your brain simultaneously, creating a complex emotional response that many people find thrilling yet peaceful. The rarity of thunder snow makes it a memorable event, and your hippocampus, when forming memories of rare events, releases dopamine, the reward neurotransmitter, creating positive associations with winter weather phenomena. Winter darkness encourages the use of artificial light, candles, fireplaces, warm lamps, that flicker and dance in ways that electronic lights do not. Your brain's response to flickering firelight is ancient and deep, activating neural pathways that predate modern humans. Fire watching has been shown to reduce blood pressure and promote a meditative state, and the warm, flickering light of winter fires and candles provides this therapeutic effect. The specific frequency of firelight flicker synchronizes with alpha brain waves, those waves associated with relaxed alertness and meditation. The weight of winter clothing, heavy coats, thick sweaters, boots, provides what's known as deep pressure stimulation to your body. This pressure activates receptors in your muscles and joints that send calming signals to your brain, similar to the effect of weighted blankets or firm hugs. Deep pressure stimulation increases serotonin production and reduces cortisol levels, creating a physiological state of calm. Winter clothing, simply by being heavier, provides this therapeutic pressure throughout the day without any conscious effort on your part. Winter's effect on your gut microbiome, the community of bacteria living in your digestive system, influences your brain through the gut-brain axis. Winter diets, often higher in fermented foods and preserved vegetables, support different bacterial populations than summer diets. These winter-adapted bacteria produce neurotransmitter precursors that your brain uses to manufacture calming compounds like GABA and serotonin. Your gut's seasonal adaptation supports your brain's seasonal shift toward calm and reflection. The practice of winter preservation, making jams, pickling vegetables, storing root crops, creates a sense of preparedness that your brain finds deeply calming. When you know you have preserved foods, your amygdala receives signals that resources are available, that you're prepared for scarcity. This sense of preparedness reduces baseline anxiety levels, even in modern times when most people aren't truly dependent on their preserved foods. The ancient neural pathways that monitor resource availability still respond to these signals, creating calm in response to visible abundance. Winter air's lack of pollen and reduced mold spore content means your immune system faces fewer challenges from airborne allergens. This reduction in immune activation has direct effects on your brain through the release of cytokines, chemical messengers that communicate between your immune system and your nervous system. Fewer immune challenges mean fewer inflammatory cytokines, which means less neuroinflammation and better cognitive function. Your brain literally works more clearly when your immune system isn't constantly responding to airborne allergens. The slower growth of your hair and nails in winter reflects an overall slowing of cellular division throughout your body. This isn't aging or decline, it's seasonal adaptation. Slower cellular division means your body's resources can be redirected towards cellular repair and maintenance rather than growth. Your brain benefits from this resource reallocation, receiving more of the nutrients and energy it needs for optimal function. Winter's slowing allows for deeper healing at the cellular level. The quality of winter silence is different from summer silence because of the absence of insects, the dormancy of leaves that would rustle in wind, the stillness of grass that would wave in breezes. This deeper silence allows your auditory cortex to detect subtler sounds, the creak of branches under ice, the whisper of snow settling, the distant call of winter birds. This attention to subtle sounds engages your brain's auditory processing in a mindful way, creating a natural listening meditation that occurs simply by being present in winter's quiet. Winter constellations, visible longer and more clearly in winter's clear, dry air, provided navigation to ancient peoples. When you look at these same stars, your brain's spatial navigation systems activate, even though you're not traveling. The act of mentally mapping the sky, of finding patterns and tracking celestial movements, exercises your hippocampus and entorhinal cortex in gentle ways. This cognitive exercise, done for beauty rather than necessity, provides stimulation without stress, keeping your brain active without creating anxiety. The formation of ice dams, ice shelves, and frozen waterfalls creates temporary sculptures that exist only in winter. These transient artworks engage your brain's appreciation of impermanence, a concept central to many meditation practices. Understanding that something beautiful is temporary, that the ice waterfall will melt, that the frost pattern will disappear, helps your brain practice acceptance of change. This acceptance, practiced visually with winter's ephemeral beauties, extends to emotional acceptance and resilience in other areas of life. Winter's cold creates conditions where your exhaled breath rises and spreads in visible patterns, creating a visual representation of air currents and temperature gradients that are invisible in warm weather. Watching these patterns, your brain gains insight into invisible forces, wind, temperature, humidity, that are always present but rarely visible. This visualization of invisible forces creates a sense of understanding and predictability about your environment, and predictability is one of the key factors in reducing anxiety. When you can see how the world works, even in small ways, your brain feels more secure. The tradition of winter baking, bread, cookies, cakes, fills indoor spaces with aromas that have powerful effects on your limbic system. The scent of baking bread, in particular, has been shown to reduce anxiety and increase feelings of safety and home. These scents trigger memories stored in your amygdala and hippocampus, often memories from childhood or moments of care and comfort. Scent-triggered memories activate more emotional brain regions than memories triggered by other senses, creating powerful feelings of well-being and calm. Winter's invitation to stay in bed longer, to linger in warmth before facing the cold day, allows for a practice called hypnopompic meditation, mindfulness in the transition between sleep and waking. This threshold state, when your brain is cycling between theta waves, light sleep, and alpha waves, relaxed wakefulness, is particularly conducive to creative insights and emotional processing. Winter mornings, dark and quiet, provide perfect conditions for this practice, allowing your brain to process emotions and generate insights before the day's demands begin. The act of warming cold hands by breathing on them, holding warm drinks, or placing them near heat sources creates a biofeedback loop that your brain finds deeply satisfying. Your hands contain dense concentrations of temperature receptors, and warming them sends powerful signals to your insular cortex, which processes bodily sensations and integrates them with emotions. Warm hands signal safety and comfort to your brain, creating a physiological state that supports calm emotions. This is why cold hands can make you feel anxious while warm hands promote peace. Winter's necessity for indoor heat sources, radiators, fireplaces, heating vents, creates subtle air currents within indoor spaces. These gentle movements of warm air create barely perceptible sensations on your skin, detected by mechanoreceptors and thermoreceptors. Your brain integrates these subtle sensations into a rich map of your environment, creating a detailed sense of here that grounds your awareness in the present moment. This sensory richness, gentle rather than overwhelming, supports mindful presence without requiring conscious effort. The reflection of light off snow creates a unique lighting condition called snow light or snow glow, where light seems to come from below as well as above. This multi-directional light reduces harsh shadows and creates even, gentle illumination. Your visual cortex, relieved of the need to process extreme contrasts between light and shadow, can rest while still taking in visual information. This creates the possibility for visual rest even while your eyes are open, a rare gift in a world of harsh contrasts and bright screens. Winter's cold air causes slight vasoconstriction in your peripheral blood vessels, directing more blood to your core and vital organs, including your brain. This increased cerebral blood flow enhances cognitive function and provides your brain with more of the oxygen and nutrients it needs for optimal operation. The slight chill that makes you reach for a sweater is also ensuring your brain receives priority access to your body's resources, an elegant example of your body's wisdom in adapting to seasonal changes. The hoarfrost that forms on cold winter mornings creates delicate crystalline structures on every surface it touches. These crystals, visible under close inspection, reveal the intricate geometry that exists at the molecular level. When you observe hoarfrost closely, the tiny ice needles, the branching patterns, the way light refracts through each crystal, you engage your brain's attention to detail in a gentle, meditative way. This close observation of natural patterns has been shown to reduce rumination and worry, pulling your attention away from anxious thoughts and toward present-moment beauty. Winter's influence on your body's production of heat shock proteins, molecules that help cells respond to stress, creates a kind of physiological resilience training. Brief exposure to cold triggers the production of these protective proteins, which then help your cells, including brain cells, better handle all kinds of stress. This is called hormetic stress, small stressors that make you stronger. Winter provides this training naturally, creating resilience not through avoidance of challenges but through regular, manageable exposure to cold that strengthens your cellular defenses. The longer nights of winter mean more time in bed even if you're not sleeping, creating more opportunities for the state between waking and sleeping called hypnagogia. In this liminal state, your brain produces theta waves and often generates vivid imagery, creative insights, and novel connections between ideas. Many artists, writers, and inventors have credited hypnagogic states with breakthrough insights. Winter's darkness gives your brain more time to inhabit this creative threshold, supporting the kind of innovative thinking that emerges when your conscious mind relaxes its grip. Winter berry-bearing plants, holly, winterberry, rose hips, provide bright spots of color in an otherwise muted landscape. These visual accents engage your brain's color processing centers without overwhelming them. In contrast to the visual riot of spring and summer, winter's sparse color accents create what designers call breathing room, visual space that allows your eyes and brain to rest while still appreciating beauty. These punctuation marks of color in a white and brown world create just enough visual interest to please without overstimulating. The specific sound of footsteps crunching on snow or cracking on ice creates an auditory feedback loop that makes walking more mindful. Unlike walking on silent summer grass or pavement, winter walking announces itself with each step. This constant auditory feedback keeps you present in the act of walking, transforming a simple journey into a moving meditation. Your brain's sensor-motor integration centers link the feeling of each step with the sound it creates, deepening your connection to your body and the present moment. Winter's effect on time perception extends beyond the sense that time moves more slowly. Research shows that people's internal clocks actually run slightly slower in winter, a phenomenon called seasonal variation in circadian period. This slight slowing means that an hour in winter may feel subtly longer than an hour in summer, not just psychologically but at the level of your biological rhythms. More perceived time means less time pressure, and less time pressure means reduced stress and greater capacity for calm. The practice of mulching gardens in winter, covering the earth with protective layers, mirrors what happens in your brain during sleep. Just as mulch protects soil organisms and plant roots, allowing them to survive winter and emerge strong in spring, sleep protects your neurons and allows for the consolidation of memories and cleaning of cellular debris. Tending a winter garden, even in small ways, creates visual reminders of the importance of protection, rest, and patience, lessons your brain can apply to its own care. And so winter continues its teaching, layer upon layer, fact upon gentle fact, showing you that rest is not laziness, that darkness is not emptiness, that cold is not cruelty. Each aspect of winter that might seem harsh on the surface reveals itself, upon deeper understanding, as perfectly designed to give your brain what it truly needs: permission to rest, encouragement to reflect, invitation to turn inward and discover the calm that has been waiting there all along. And as winter deepens around you, still more secrets reveal themselves, more ways this quiet season nurtures your mind toward peace. The way ice forms on lakes and ponds, from the top down, creating a protective barrier that keeps life alive beneath, teaches your brain about surface and depth. This visible metaphor, where the still surface protects vibrant life below, mirrors what happens during meditation and rest. Your conscious mind becomes still and calm on the surface while deeper processes of healing, integration, and renewal continue beneath. Watching a frozen pond, your brain recognizes this principle visually, reinforcing the value of surface stillness for deep restoration. Winter's dry air, while sometimes uncomfortable for skin, creates acoustic conditions that musicians and sound engineers prize. Sound waves travel through dry air with less distortion than through humid air, creating clearer, purer tones. When you listen to music in winter, or simply to the sounds of your environment, your auditory cortex receives cleaner signals with less ambient interference. This clarity allows for more precise auditory processing, which your brain finds satisfying and calming, like the difference between looking through a clean window versus a foggy one. The seasonal shift in Earth's axial tilt that creates winter also affects gravity's influence on your body in infinitesimally small ways. While too subtle to consciously detect, your vestibular system, your inner ear's balance mechanism, registers these minute changes along with the different ways you move in winter, carefully on ice, heavily in boots, bundled in layers. This complete sensory experience of winter movement creates a distinct proprioceptive signature that your brain associates with the season, triggering all the neural adaptations that winter brings. Winter birds, cardinals, blue jays, chickadees, that remain active in cold months display behaviors that your brain finds compelling to watch. Their puffed-up feathers, their quick movements to stay warm, their focused search for food create a narrative of survival and adaptation. Watching these winter birds activates your mirror neurons, brain cells that fire both when you perform an action and when you watch someone else perform it. Through mirror neurons, you experience a shadow of the bird's focused presence, their moment-to-moment alertness, which paradoxically creates a meditative state in your own mind. The mineral composition of winter air, particularly in snowy regions, includes tiny particles of rock and soil lifted by wind before snow falls. These mineral particles, when inhaled in minuscule amounts, provide trace elements that your body can use. More importantly, the scent of these minerals, that distinctive cold smell that isn't really cold but is actually the smell of these particles, triggers associations with purity and cleanliness in your olfactory system. Your brain interprets these scents as signals of a clean, low-pathogen environment, allowing your immune vigilance to relax slightly. Winter's influence on electromagnetic fields, as cold, dry air conducts electricity differently than warm, humid air, creates subtle variations in the electromagnetic environment around you. Your brain's neurons, which operate through electrical signals, exist within this electromagnetic context. While the effects are subtle, some researchers theorize that seasonal variations in electromagnetic conditions may influence neural firing patterns, contributing to seasonal changes in mood and cognition. Winter's electromagnetic signature may be part of what signals to your brain that this is a season for different rhythms. The practice of keeping houseplants alive through winter creates a partnership between you and living things that rely on your care. This caregiving activates your brain's nurturing circuits, releasing oxytocin and activating regions associated with empathy and connection. Tending plants in winter, watering them, turning them toward light, caring for their needs, provides purpose and connection during months when outdoor gardening isn't possible. Your brain benefits from having living things to care for, creating a sense of meaning that supports mental well-being. Winter shadows, cast by low-angle sun, are longer and softer than summer shadows. These extended shadows create a visual rhythm as they stretch across snow or bare ground, marking time's passage in a visible, gentle way. Your brain's ability to track time through shadow movement is ancient, predating clocks by millions of years. Winter's slow-moving shadows allow this ancient time sense to operate at a leisurely pace, reducing the time pressure that faster-moving summer shadows subtly create. The crystalline structure of snowflakes, each one unique yet all following the same hexagonal pattern, provides your brain with a perfect example of unity within diversity. This pattern, individual variation within consistent structure, is deeply satisfying to your pattern recognition systems. It demonstrates that uniqueness and conformity aren't opposites but can coexist beautifully. This visual lesson in harmonious diversity can extend to how your brain processes difference and similarity in other contexts, promoting acceptance and reducing the anxiety that comes from rigid either-or thinking. Winter's effect on your skin, the need for moisturizing, the awareness of dryness and chapping, increases your interoceptive awareness, your sense of your body's internal state. Greater interoceptive awareness is associated with better emotional regulation and reduced anxiety. When you notice your skin's dryness and respond by moisturizing, you're practicing a form of self-care that your brain registers and rewards. This attention to bodily needs strengthens the connection between your conscious mind and your body's wisdom, creating a foundation for overall well-being. The way winter darkness encourages earlier bedtimes creates alignment between your sleep schedule and your circadian rhythm. Your suprachiasmatic nucleus, the brain's master clock, receives light information from your eyes and uses it to time the release of melatonin and cortisol. When you go to bed earlier in response to earlier darkness, you're synchronizing your behavior with your biology. This synchronization reduces the internal conflict that occurs when social schedules clash with biological rhythms, creating a sense of ease that pervades both waking and sleeping hours. Winter's cold creates conditions where any warmth becomes more noticeable and more precious. A warm drink, a heated room, a patch of sunlight, these simple warmths activate your brain's reward centers more intensely than they would in summer when warmth is abundant. This heightened appreciation for warmth creates more moments of gratitude and pleasure throughout winter days. Your brain's reward system, activated regularly by these small warmths, maintains dopamine levels that support motivation and positive mood even as winter stretches on. The formation of icicles, growing drip by drip as water freezes, provides a visual representation of gradual accumulation and patient growth. Watching icicles form, or simply seeing their finished beauty, activates brain regions associated with understanding cause and effect, patience, and incremental progress. These cognitive patterns, activated visually by icicles, can transfer to other areas of your life, helping your brain appreciate slow progress and trust in gradual processes rather than demanding immediate results. Winter's requirement for artificial light earlier in the day means you have more control over your lighting environment. You can choose warm-toned lights that promote calm, dim lights that ease you towards sleep, or bright lights that support alertness when needed. This control over your photic environment gives you more agency over your circadian rhythm and mood than summer's extended natural light allows. Your brain responds to this agency, this ability to shape your environment, with reduced stress and increased sense of security. The specific quality of winter silence in snow-covered landscapes creates what sound engineers call a dead room, a space where sound reflections are minimized. In this acoustic environment, sounds you make, your voice, your footsteps, your breath, reach your ears without the usual reverberations. This acoustic intimacy, where sounds seem closer and more immediate, can create an almost confessional quality to winter solitude. Your brain, hearing yourself more clearly in winter's quiet, can engage in more effective self-reflection and internal dialogue. Winter's cold fingers and toes, when warmed, create a particularly intense pleasure sensation because of the contrast between cold discomfort and warm relief. This contrast activates your brain's reward pathway strongly, similar to how food tastes better when you're hungry. The pleasure of warming cold extremities releases endorphins and dopamine, creating natural moments of joy throughout winter days. Your brain learns to anticipate these pleasures, creating positive associations with winter despite, or perhaps because of, its challenges. The bare branches of deciduous trees in winter create intricate patterns against the sky, patterns that change subtly with every viewing angle and light condition. These ever-changing yet fundamentally similar patterns engage your brain's visual cortex in a way that's stimulating but not demanding. Unlike the visual complexity of a tree in full leaf, bare branches provide enough pattern to be interesting but enough simplicity to be restful. This balance between stimulation and rest is ideal for maintaining cognitive engagement without creating mental fatigue. Winter's shorter photoperiod, the amount of daylight in a 24-hour period, triggers changes in your pineal gland beyond just melatonin production. This small but powerful gland also modulates the production of other hormones and neurotransmitters in response to light exposure. The winter photoperiod creates a hormonal environment that supports introspection, rest, and cellular repair rather than the external focus and activity drive of summer's longer days. Your entire endocrine system shifts into a winter mode that complements your brain's need for seasonal rest. The practice of preserving summer's bounty for winter consumption, whether you do this yourself or simply eat stored apples, root vegetables, and canned goods, connects you to seasonal cycles in a deep way. Your brain, when you eat a stored apple in January, can reflect on the passage of time from harvest to consumption. This temporal awareness, this sense of participating in cycles larger than daily life, provides perspective that reduces anxiety about immediate concerns. You are part of rhythms that span seasons and years, not just minutes and hours. Winter's cold air causes slight bronchoconstriction, a subtle tightening of airways that, paradoxically, can improve respiratory efficiency. This mild challenge to your breathing stimulates your respiratory drive, encouraging fuller, deeper breaths. These deeper breaths activate your vagus nerve more effectively than shallow breathing, promoting parasympathetic activation. Winter air, simply by being cold, coaches you toward healthier breathing patterns that support calm states. The visual texture of frost on windows, created by crystals forming in unique patterns based on microscopic imperfections in the glass, provides your brain with a perfect example of how constraints create beauty. The imperfections that might be flaws in other contexts become the scaffolding for beauty in frost formation. This visual lesson, that limitations can be creative opportunities, can influence how your brain processes challenges in other domains, promoting resilience and creative problem solving. Winter's necessity for planning, ensuring you have food, warmth, entertainment for indoor hours, engages your prefrontal cortex in constructive ways. This planning is different from worry. It's concrete, actionable, and leads to tangible preparation. Engaging in productive planning activates your brain's executive functions without triggering anxiety, creating a sense of competence and control. Successfully navigating winter through good planning rewards your brain with satisfaction and confidence. The way snow insulates the earth, keeping ground temperature relatively stable even as air temperature plummets, demonstrates a principle of protection that your brain can apply metaphorically. Just as snow protects roots and soil organisms, you can protect your inner calm and peace even when external conditions are harsh. Observing this natural insulation at work, your brain absorbs the lesson that protection is possible, that you can maintain your core warmth regardless of external cold. Winter's influence on your body's production of adenosine, the molecule that builds up in your brain during waking hours and creates sleep pressure, affects your sleep-wake cycle in seasonal ways. Shorter days and longer nights allow for more complete clearing of adenosine during sleep, meaning you wake with lower adenosine levels. Starting each day with less sleep pressure accumulated means your brain can function with greater clarity and less fatigue, even if you sleep the same number of hours as in summer. The tradition of winter crafts, knitting, woodworking, model building, that flourish in indoor months engages your brain's motor cortex and planning centers in focused, meditative ways. Repetitive hand movements in crafts activate a state similar to walking meditation, where the rhythm of movement becomes a focus that quiets mental chatter. Your brain's default mode network settles into a calm pattern when your hands are engaged in skilled, repetitive work, creating peace without requiring you to sit still. Winter stars, appearing in the same positions night after night, provide your brain with a sense of cosmic stability and predictability. In a world of constant change, the unchanging positions of winter constellations offer reassurance that some things remain constant. Your brain, which craves both novelty and stability, finds the perfect balance in stars that are always there yet always worth looking at. This reliable beauty supports a sense of order and meaning in the universe. The scent of wood smoke on winter air, whether from your own fire or a neighbor's, carries complex aromatic compounds that affect your limbic system in multiple ways. Wood smoke contains trace amounts of compounds that are similar to those used in aromatherapy for relaxation. More than chemistry, though, wood smoke carries cultural and evolutionary associations with safety, warmth, and community. When you smell wood smoke in winter, layers of meaning, chemical, cultural, evolutionary, all contribute to a sense of comfort and security. Winter's effect on your skin's oil production creates a different tactile experience of your own body. Drier skin has different texture, different sensitivity to touch. This seasonal change in how your body feels to your own touch increases your somatic awareness, your consciousness of bodily sensations. Enhanced somatic awareness is a key component of mindfulness practice, helping you stay grounded in physical reality rather than lost in anxious thoughts. Winter skin, simply by feeling different, can prompt greater embodied presence. The longer you spend in winter, the more your brain adapts to its unique demands and gifts. This neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to change in response to experience, means that winter doesn't just affect you, it reshapes you, creating new neural pathways that support seasonal wisdom. By your 10th winter, your 100th winter, your brain has learned how to winter well, carrying forward lessons and adaptations that make each winter easier than the last. Winter precipitation patterns, arriving in waves of storms separated by clear periods, create a rhythm that your brain can synchronize with. Storm days for cozy indoor activities, clear days for ventures outside. This rhythm provides structure without rigidity, variety within predictability. Your brain thrives on this kind of structured flexibility, having enough routine to feel secure but enough variation to stay engaged. The practice of warming your bed before entering it, with hot water bottles, heated blankets, or simply warmed pajamas, creates a ritual that signals to your brain that sleep is approaching. These warming rituals activate a conditioned response, where the sensation of warmth becomes associated with the transition to sleep. Over time, your brain begins preparing for sleep as soon as the warming ritual begins, making the actual transition to sleep smoother and faster. Winter's cold makes hot baths and showers feel more luxurious and necessary than in summer. The contrast between cold air and hot water creates intense sensory pleasure that activates your brain's somatosensory cortex powerfully. This strong sensory input, focused on physical sensation rather than thought, pulls your attention into your body and out of your mind, creating a natural break from rumination and worry. A winter bath is more than hygiene, it's a reset for your entire nervous system. The way winter weather can change plans, canceling events, closing roads, keeping you home, removes the burden of choice from your shoulders. When winter decides you can't go out, your brain doesn't have to wrestle with whether you should go out. This removal of decision-making responsibility can be surprisingly relieving, giving your prefrontal cortex a rest from its constant weighing of options. Sometimes having your hand forced by weather is a gift disguised as an inconvenience. Winter's bare landscapes make it easier to see wildlife that would be hidden in summer's foliage. Deer in snowy fields, birds on bare branches, animal tracks in fresh snow. Winter reveals the presence of other lives sharing your world. Seeing this wildlife activates your brain's attention networks and creates a sense of connection to the broader living world. You are not alone. You are part of an ecosystem of creatures all adapting to winter together. The specific quality of winter sunlight filtering through bare tree branches creates moving patterns of light and shadow that are more visible on winter days than in summer's diffused green light. These moving patterns, called dappled light, engage your brain's motion detection systems in gentle ways. Following the movement of light patterns across a floor or wall can become an impromptu meditation, where your eyes and mind follow the slow dance of light without effort or intention. Winter's requirement to dress in layers creates opportunities for adjustment throughout the day, adding a layer when cold, removing one when warm. These small acts of self-regulation, of responding to your body's signals and taking action to stay comfortable, strengthen your interoceptive awareness and self-care skills. Each adjustment is a small success, a moment of listening to your body and meeting its needs, building patterns of self-attunement that extend beyond temperature regulation. The hibernation of garden insects, ladybugs, butterflies, bees, in dormant states teaches your brain about the possibility of complete rest. These creatures essentially pause their lives, reducing their metabolism to nearly nothing, waiting for conditions that will support activity again. While humans don't hibernate, we can learn from this model of deep rest, understanding that there are times when the wisest choice is to conserve energy rather than push through challenging conditions. Winter's cold, when you're properly dressed for it, creates a pleasant challenge that activates your body's adaptive systems without triggering genuine threat responses. This eustress, positive stress that strengthens rather than depletes, keeps your stress response systems toned and ready without overwhelming them. Like exercise for your stress response, Winter's manageable cold helps maintain your resilience without creating the damage that chronic stress causes. The sound of your own heartbeat becomes more noticeable in winter's quiet, particularly when you're lying still in bed during long, dark nights. This awareness of your heartbeat, your body's most fundamental rhythm, can become an anchor for meditation and a reminder of your aliveness. Your brain, tuning into this internal rhythm, can synchronize other bodily rhythms to it, creating a state of internal coherence where all your systems are working in harmony. Winter's tendency to keep people closer to home creates opportunities for deeper engagement with your immediate environment. You notice details of your home, your neighborhood, your regular routes that you might miss when traveling farther afield. This deep familiarity with a small territory satisfies your brain's need to know its environment thoroughly, creating a sense of mastery and belonging that wide-ranging summer travels, while exciting, don't provide. The way sunrise comes later in winter means you can wake with the sun even without rising exceptionally early. Waking with natural light, as dawn gradually brightens your room, allows for the gentlest possible transition from sleep to waking. Your cortisol awakening response synchronizes with the gradual increase in light, creating a natural, non-jarring wake-up that sets a calm tone for the entire day. This alignment of waking with dawn is almost impossible in summer's early sunrises but becomes accessible in winter. Winter's darkness encourages the use of candlelight, and the act of lighting candles itself becomes a ritual that marks the transition from day to evening. This ritual, performed as darkness falls, helps your brain recognize and honor the shift toward rest. Rituals create predictability that your brain finds comforting, and lighting candles is a ritual gentle enough to promote calm rather than activation, marking transitions without creating stress. The reduced UV radiation in winter sunlight means you can enjoy sunlight without the same skin damage risk that summer sun carries. This allows for more relaxed sun exposure, where you can bask in winter sun's warmth and light without watching the clock or worrying about protection. Your brain, freed from the need to monitor sun exposure carefully, can simply enjoy the sensory pleasure of sunlight on skin, a pleasure that's safer and more carefree in winter's gentler rays. Winter's invitation to move more slowly, walking carefully on ice, moving thoughtfully in heavy clothing, creates a naturally mindful movement practice. Unlike summer's invitation to rush and play, winter asks for deliberation and care. This slower movement gives your proprioceptive system more time to process each step, each motion, creating greater body awareness and presence. You can't rush carelessly through winter, and this forced mindfulness becomes a practice that benefits your entire nervous system. The thermal mass of winter buildings, walls and floors that hold heat or cold and release it slowly, creates more stable indoor temperatures than summer's rapid temperature swings. This thermal stability means your body's temperature regulation systems face fewer rapid adjustments, allowing them to operate more efficiently with less stress. Stable temperatures create a stable backdrop against which your brain can focus on higher-order tasks rather than constantly adapting to changing conditions. Winter's unique challenges, starting cars in cold, protecting pipes from freezing, managing snow and ice, create opportunities for practical problem-solving that engages your brain's executive functions in concrete, achievable ways. Successfully meeting these challenges provides concrete feedback that you're capable and competent, supporting self-efficacy. Unlike abstract worries that have no clear solution, winter's practical challenges can be definitively solved, providing your brain with the satisfaction of problems solved and tasks completed. The way winter encourages storing food, energy, and warmth taps into ancient survival instincts that live in your brainstem and limbic system. When you have a pantry full of food, a warm home, and fuel for heat, these ancient systems register abundance and safety, allowing your higher brain regions to relax their vigilance. You have what you need, you are prepared, you can rest. This message from your ancient brain supports calm throughout your entire nervous system. Winter nights, when the stars seem to come out earlier and shine more clearly, create a sense of cosmic connection that puts daily concerns in perspective. Your default mode network, when contemplating the vastness of space and time, shifts away from self-focused rumination toward broader, more philosophical reflection. This shift in perspective, from the minutiae of daily life to the grand scale of the cosmos, can relieve anxiety and restore a sense of meaning and wonder. And so winter weaves its web of calm, strand by intricate strand, each fact connecting to the next, each truth building on the last, creating a complete understanding of why this season, often seen as harsh, is actually a gift of profound rest. Your brain, held in winter's gentle grasp, can finally, fully, completely relax into the darkness, the cold, the quiet, knowing that all of this is exactly what you need, exactly when you need it. Winter is not something to endure but something to embrace, not a problem to solve but a solution to problems you didn't even know you had. In winter's wisdom, in its patience, in its insistence that some things cannot and should not be rushed, your brain finds permission to release the constant striving, the endless doing, the perpetual motion of modern life. Here, in winter's heart, you can finally rest, truly rest, in every sense of the word. And in that rest, you are renewed, restored, made ready for all the seasons to come. And so we arrive here, at the quiet end of our journey through winter's wisdom. If you're still awake, still listening, that's a gift. It means you've spent these hours held in winter's gentle teaching, learning at the deepest levels how this season serves your tired mind. And if you've drifted in and out of sleep, catching pieces of the story like snowflakes on your tongue, tasting the truth of winter's calm in fragments and whispers, that's perfect too. There's no wrong way to have experienced this night. You've been exactly where you needed to be, hearing exactly what you needed to hear, resting in exactly the way your body and brain required. Winter doesn't judge. Winter doesn't measure. Winter simply holds you, patiently, endlessly, until you're ready to rest completely. And now, as our time together draws to a close, let yourself sink even deeper into that rest. You've learned so much, though you don't need to remember any of it. The knowledge has settled into you like snow settling on a winter field, quietly, completely, transforming the landscape without announcement. Your brain has absorbed what it needed. Your nervous system has recalibrated. Your body has begun the deep work of restoration that only happens when you truly, fully rest. Outside, beyond these words, beyond this moment, winter continues. The stars are still wheeling across the sky. The moon is still pulling tides, marking time. Snow is falling somewhere, or has fallen, or will fall. Ice is forming in delicate patterns. Frost is painting windows with crystalline art. The earth is still turning, tilting, carrying you through the darkness toward eventual light. But that light is not your concern right now. Right now, there is only darkness. Only rest. Only the deep, healing quiet of a winter night that asks nothing from you but surrender. Feel your body now, so heavy, so relaxed. You're sinking into your bed like snow sinking into itself, compacting, settling, finding its final resting place. Every muscle has released its grip. Every joint has softened. Every cell in your body is breathing, slowly, peacefully, in rhythm with the gentle pulse of winter itself. Your breath is so slow now, so deep, like the breath of hibernating animals, like the slow respiration of the frozen earth. In and out, in and out. Each breath carrying you deeper into calm, deeper into peace, deeper into the restorative darkness that winter has been offering you all along. Your mind is quiet, so quiet, like a snow-covered forest where no birds sing, where no wind blows, where even your own thoughts have been muffled and softened and covered over with white silence. There's nothing you need to think about. Nothing you need to figure out. Nothing you need to plan or worry over or solve. Winter has done its work. The lessons have been learned, not by your conscious mind, but by your deeper self, the part of you that knows how to rest, that remembers how to winter, that carries the wisdom of 1,000,000 years of seasonal cycles in its cells and bones. You are safe here in the darkness. Protected. Held. Just as seeds are safe beneath frozen ground, just as roots are safe beneath winter snow, just as bears are safe in their dens and birds are safe in their nests, you are safe here, wrapped in blankets, surrounded by warmth, breathing slowly in the peaceful dark. There's nowhere else you need to be. This is exactly where you belong. In this bed. In this darkness. In this moment of perfect winter peace. Let go now of any remaining wakeful thought. Let it drift away like smoke from a chimney, dissipating into the winter night. Let it dissolve like snowflakes on warm skin. Let it melt away, leaving nothing behind but pure, simple, perfect rest. Your eyelids are so heavy. Heavier than snow-laden branches. Heavier than ice on a winter lake. They want to close, to stay closed, to seal you into the healing darkness of sleep. Let them. Trust them. Close your eyes and keep them closed, surrendering completely to the downward pull of rest. You're drifting now. Can you feel it? Drifting like a snowflake falling through still air, turning slowly, descending gently, moving inexorably toward the earth below. There's no hurry. No rush. Just the slow, peaceful drift downward, downward, into sleep. Right now, there is only this breath. This moment. This deep, encompassing peace. The winter night surrounds you like a blanket made of stars and silence. The darkness holds you like water holds a stone. The cold air outside your warm nest of blankets creates the perfect boundary between you and the world, close enough to know the world is there, far enough to be completely, utterly safe from its demands. You are a winter tree, standing in snow, bare and beautiful and perfectly still. You are a hibernating bear, curled in darkness, heart slow, breath deep. You are a frozen lake, still and silent beneath a dome of stars. You are winter itself, patient, peaceful, perfectly content to be exactly what you are. Rest now. Completely. Totally. Without reservation or hesitation or any remaining thread of wakefulness. Let sleep take you like snow takes the earth, completely, transformingly, covering everything in peace. Let these words be the last conscious thoughts you have tonight, dissolving even as you hear them, melting into the warm darkness behind your closed eyes. Winter holds you. Darkness holds you. Peace holds you. Sleep. Sleep deeply. Sleep well. Sleep in winter's perfect, endless, healing peace. And tomorrow, or the night after, or whenever you need this again, winter will still be here. These words will still be here. This peace will still be here, waiting patiently, ready to hold you again. But for now, just sleep.